No pictures of the jury.
Yes. Understood, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So no objection to bringing in the audience if you want.
And we're
This was a very interesting case because it's the type of collision case that goes to trial often, whether it be a car crash, ski crashes, maybe a little more rare. But when you factor in a massive celebrity and a case on film, you get the weight of the world kind of watching a case going, why does this go to trial? And it's like, actually, this happens in courtrooms all the time. I was surprised after 8 days how fast this jury came back, but only a little bit, because we knew that if they were finding for Gwyneth Paltrow or finding 50% liability, that they didn't have to decide damages, which is really the time-taking component. So when I saw how quickly the jury came back, I went, this is probably going to be a verdict very much in Paltrow's favor.
Thank you. We'll now have the clerk read the verdict.
You can just read the question and then the answer.
Was Gwyneth Paltrow at fault? No. Was Gwyneth Paltrow's fault a cause of Terry Sanderson's harm? Oh, skip that.
There's just no response there.
Okay.
I was very interested to see Gwyneth Paltrow take the stand. When you have celebrities, particularly on trial, you need lawyers that really humanize them. And her legal team, there were some members that did that, but some that didn't. I was very surprised to see how much more likable Paltrow became as the plaintiff's lawyer was joking with her about her height and her heels and her being small but mighty. It actually was really interesting and kind of surreal to watch someone have that kind of a playful banter when they're opposing counsel and are supposed to be pointing out that Paltrow's not telling the truth about this. So I actually thought she came across on the stand very well. Even in what was supposed to be a cross-examination, she was personable, she was firm, but she wasn't ever aggressive on the stand. And it actually came across that she had empathy for what this plaintiff has gone through, even though she maintained that she was not the one who caused it. And the jury agreed with her.
Was Terry Sanderson at fault? Yes. Was Terry Sanderson's fault a cause Gwyneth Paltrow's Did Terry Sanderson's fault cause Gwyneth Paltrow's harm? Yes.
It's always difficult to cross-examine a celebrity because you never know what the jury thinks of them and their story. So if you come across too hard, it might just turn the jury off immediately. But then there were these joking moments, and plaintiff's counsel weren't the only ones. Paltrow's counsel was at one point pointing to the gallery or pointing to the other attorneys and was like, how much time do I have left? There were a lot of light moments in this courtroom, but it was definitely odd to witness it over and over again in what really should have been more of a cross-examination. And instead it was talking about shoes, which even in a celebrity trial surprises me very much. It should have been, well, you don't really remember how this went because you were distracted.
Comparative fault. What % of the fault do you assign to Terry Sanderson? 100%. Damages. What amount fairly compensates Gwyneth Paltrow for economic damages? $1. Signed March 30th, 2023.
Thank you.
Why sit through this trial? What do you have to gain if you're Gwyneth Paltrow? And her lawyers did a good job saying she wasn't going to pay the ransom of the plaintiff. And that's what they called it in closing, the ransom, indicating that she was really being held for an amount of money to not be dragged through the public spotlight. And I had empathy for that, because what do you do if you're a celebrity and somebody hits you in their car and is like, I'm going to drag this out into the media if you don't just give me money? And she put her foot down and said no. And this litigation went on for almost 5 years.
This court is now adjourned. Thank you.
Let my client slip out before.
Yes, everyone remain seated while the parties leave.
I'm going to make a quick statement. Ms. Paltrow is not going to be making a statement today.
So you can make the statement outside, Mr. Owens.
I will do that.
Okay.